day,
in full faith and will gradually influence my thoughts and actions,
so that I will become a self-reliant and successful person. This is a 12-step formula minimum standards, which when followed with exactness and a positive environment, guarantees 24 plus transactions annually and unprecedented personal growth and achievement. 1. I dedicate 1 hour daily towards building and protecting my self-confidence. 2. I practice and internalize my sales skills for a minimum of 1 hour each day. 3. I contact my sphere of influence by mail, by phone, and/or in person, and by email quarterly. 4. I make 150 plus contacts per week, 30 plus per day, by phone or in person. 5. I follow up with all my qualified leads daily. 6. I set 5 plus new appointments per week with buyers or sellers. 7. I completely pre-qualify 100% of my appointments. 8. I have appointments attended to listings taken ratio at least 50% rate. I call all my sellers weekly and reduce all my listings every 3 weeks, a minimum of 5%. 10. I sell 75% or more of my listed inventory. 11. I will return every signed call and contact every buyer lead within 2 hours of inquiry. 12. I only work with highly qualified buyers who have been pre-qualified by a mortgage lender and signed a buyer-broker agreement. Earn more commissions in less time with less energy spent. I recognize success comes from persistent action, resulting in predictable outcomes. Therefore, I commit to following every step to the 12 steps of my success. Now I am the voice.
Now I am the voice.
I will lead, not follow.
I will lead, not follow.
I will believe, not doubt.
I will believe, not doubt.
I will create, not destroy.
I will create, not destroy.
I'm a force for good.
I'm a force for good.
I'm a leader.
I'm a leader.
Defy the odds.
Defy the odds.
Set a new standard.
Set a new standard.
Step up.
Step up.
Step up.
Step up.
Step up.
Step up.
I am a professional salesperson who gets homes sold.
I use information to help my clients achieve their goals. I price my listings right. I focus on small wins every day. Real estate transactions are abundant in any market. My abilities make me succeed. I get stronger with every step. I'm the master of every situation.
My confidence is unshakable because I live with integrity.
I always have productive thoughts. I take excellent care of my body. I start each day with an abundance of energy. I am task-oriented. I set clear priorities daily. I know what I want and I get it. I attract and enjoy greater financial abundance each day. My gratitude gives me unlimited financial success. I think prosperous thoughts. I am prosperous. I handle my money wisely and I profit every day.
Taking action is easy for me.
I'm eager to start each day. I enjoy being debt-free. I exercise daily. I enjoy helping my clients succeed.
I eat healthful foods. I'm a real estate expert. My SOI expects me to be the real estate expert. I am a professional. I am financially independent. I earn commissions with ease helping others. I have solutions.
Prospecting is good for my business. I call expires for sale by owners. Prospecting is easy for me. I enjoy following up with my SOI. People are attracted to my enthusiasm.
I use technology to succeed. I get mentally stronger with every call I make. I'm an outstanding salesperson. I'm a powerful agent. I know how to succeed. I keep positive, exciting, fun, and productive thoughts in my What's so funny?
Nice job, baby girl.
And this is all for us.
Look at this sun.
Sure it is.
That's the door knocking, baby girl. Look at her.
I showed her when it's on the phone, right?
Hey, beautiful.
Because she didn't know it was on. And then,
No, don't show that.
No, you're not going to see it. It's recorded right now. But this is the room, right?
Oh, I love it.
And then
And
so
she
as
walks
she's
in.
coming
Oh, did you
in,
like go like
I
this?
show it to her,
Yeah.
and she's got a rear view, and she's like, "It's showing."
So happy you come in late to get the back door.
That's it.
Why are we doing
Free
that?
shot.
Why are we doing
I'm
that?
testing it out.
So let me
We
know.
gotta send it to corporate
Tell
to
me you
make
have
sure
to go to the
everybody.
beach or go to the ocean to get this tan.
You know what, I walk.
Ah.
It takes very little for me. And plus I'm very vascular.
Wow.
Here's my hormones.
Woo! That's what most people would spend a lot of money for when they go to that tanning salon.
Like us guys from Wisconsin.
This one has to go to the
I get sprayed if I go somewhere. I can't wear Bermuda shorts. Everybody looks at me like,
Well, my legs are.
who invited
I
that
used
chicken?
to, I used to
No, they go, well, you must
wear
be from the
skirts
east,
all
right?
summer long
Really?
before I got older, and my legs now are like white as
My husband says my legs look like glow sticks.
Glow sticks.
Look like what?
Glow sticks since they're so white.
I know. It's embarrassing.
Yeah.
I've never had that problem with the sun.
Well, some people are fortunate.
Yeah, it gets me,
Yeah.
gets me brown real quick.
Oh, I'm either pasty white or bright red.
Okay, silence the outside world.
I don't think mine's gonna work today, just because it's hit the
Well, you're
camera.
talking about the,
You like the
Yeah, if you
one
wanted to
Yep.
put something on.
figured it after, but
Yeah.
it was funny. Found it in my stuff the other day and I went, okay, that makes sense now.
It's warm in here.
I'm glad you said that.
I was thinking the same, I was thinking the same thing.
And I don't get hot flashes.
Anyway, so just let it air out.
Oh, that feels good.
You can feel it already?
Mhm.
Okay.
Big time.
all right, I was playing the same one, but.
What is that?
It's that same thing, 1492.
Barely hear it.
You can't hear it?
I got my hearing aids in too.
Gotta turn it up.
Turn them up.
Yeah, turn 'em up,
Same
yeah,
thing,
that-
turn them up. Yeah, turn them on, that's a good idea.
There you go.
Hey, timing is everything.
No problem. So, we're recording it on GoPro. Just to give you a heads up, I'm trying to give disclaimer to everyone.
You're in a
It's-
perfect
it's-
spot.
It's just for us, so don't worry.
Nice.
Camera's back there if you want to wave to it.
I smell hazelnut coffee.
Yes. I had to get some.
I got a nose for coffee.
It smells like coffee to me. I don't drink, right?
Sounds like the Russian choir. I like that.
All right, ready to go? So let's jump into, since we did a lot of Mindset Monday, you know, for those of you that were here, and went a little longer into it. It was good.
awesome. That was very good.
But let's jump into the objection handling. We'll go to the listing objection handlers, number 66.
Gotcha.
Practice these again. And the ones that to fill them out, if you don't already have it filled out, do you already have yours filled out for blanks? Put 400 homes for sale. Last month only 150 actually sold. That's a 3-month supply of homes, even no other homes come on the market, and last month 100 homes went on the market. So that's at the top. So that's, is it cool enough now? Can I shut the
Yeah,
door?
good.
Perfect.
It's
Thank
still
you.
pretty empty in here, but we won't
Would you
scare the
mind
mail
telling
guy
me
with our chance.
Which one it is?
What's that?
66.
My
66.
pages are very different.
Does he have a different one? Yeah, just from there. So we started, we wanted to give you a 90 day. So let's all stand up and then we'll just go through it once, and then after that we'll do round robin and practice it. Alright, so I'll read off the objection, and then everybody just in perfect harmony, we'll recite it back. You guys ready to go?
Yes,
Alright, we want to only give you a 30-day listing agreement.
I'm so excited that you brought that up. I'm sorry, I won't do that. 6 months is our company policy.
Therefore, all we need to do now is simply sign the contract, so I can help you get what you want in the time you want.
Won't that be great?
Sign the contract. Yeah, let's try to say it with a little enthusiasm. Let's wake up. You guys ready? We were thinking about X company, and we've never heard of your company, Century 21.
I'm so excited that you brought that up. I can understand your concern, and I think you realize a company doesn't sell a home. It's an individual agent's activities. Do you feel I can sell your home?
Yes.
Terrific. All we need to do now is simply sign the contract so I can help you get what you want in the time you want. Won't that be great? Sign the contract.
Nice job. We'll save the commission by selling it ourselves.
I'm so excited you brought that up. I agree you could save the commission by selling it yourself. Are you aware that today over 400 homes are for sale? Last month, only 150 actually sold. That's a 3-month supply of homes. Even if no other home comes on the market, and last month, 100 homes went on the market. And what's worse is the fact that 2% of all for sale by owners sell themselves, and the remaining 98% are listed and sold by real estate agents. Can you afford to have only a 2% chance of selling your home?
Let's
Let's
do
do the right thing. Simply sign the contract so I can help you get what you want in the time you want. Won't that be great? Let's sign the contract.
Well, why don't we list high, and then we can always come down later.
I'm so excited that you brought that up. I understand you want to list high to leave room for negotiating. And have you considered the problem that creates for you? Most people won't even bother looking at properties that are priced too high. Would you rather have a bidding war on your home or not have an opportunity to negotiate any offers at all? All we need to do now is simply sign the contract so I can help you get what you want in the time you want. Won't that be great? Let's sign the contract.
But we want to think it over.
I'm so excited that you brought that up. That's great. And since 3 lines are better than 2, let's think out loud together. Tell me, what are you thinking about?
We want to sleep on it.
I'm so excited that you brought that up. You're right, this is a big decision, isn't it?
Yes,
the decision must be made based on what you want. Correct. Let's do this. Sign the contract tonight, contingent upon your approval within 24 hours. That way we both win. Can I tell you how? You have 24 hours with no pressure, so you can feel comfortable and sleep on it tonight. Then I'll call you in the morning, and you simply tell me yes or no. If you say no, I'll rip up the contract, and you have no obligation. If you say yes, I'll begin marketing your home immediately. Either way, all we need to do now is simply sign the contract, so I can help you get what you want in the time you want. Won't that be great? Let's sign the contract.
You know, I got a friend in the business.
I'm so excited you brought that up. I can appreciate that, and almost everyone does. So let me ask you, do you absolutely have to sell your home, or are you just looking to do a friend a favor? Obviously, you had me out for a reason, right? Do you feel I can sell your home? Terrific. All we need to do now is simply sign the contract, so I can help you get what you want in the time you want. Won't that be great? Let's sign the contract.
But another agent said they could get me more money than what you're telling me.
I'm so excited you brought that up. I can appreciate that. And what you probably don't understand is this. An agent who will list your property overpriced assumes they can take the listing now and then start beating you down on the price week after week after week after week. Is that what you want? Who would? They're afraid to tell you the truth up front.
Do you want the
John,
truth?
Do you want the
Of course you
truth?
do.
of course you do.
Let's do the right thing and simply sign the contract so I can help you get what you want in the time you want. Won't that be great? Let's sign the contract.
That's it, right? Or do we got commissions still?
You haven't sold any homes in my
I'm missing the
area.
last one. All
Said
right.
that in my food, right? Do you want it?
No,
I
no.
got so many notes on mine, I can't even read them
You
anymore.
ready?
Okay.
Okay. So you haven't sold any homes in my area.
I'm so excited that you brought that up, and that's a valid concern. The obvious reason you'll choose me now is that my company has homes for sale all over the community. Meaning, when you sign the contract tonight, we can expose your property to potential buyers from all over the area. Do you realize how important that kind of exposure is? Now, isn't that what you want? Of course it is. Therefore, all we need to do now is simply sign the contract so I can help you get what you want in the time you want. Won't that be great? Sign the contract.
What do you do to sell homes?
I'm so excited that you brought that up. That's a valid concern. And let me ask you, are you aware that there are two kinds of real estate agents? There are passive and active. I'm an active agent, meaning when you sign the contract tonight, I will spend all my time actively marketing your home and exposing it to the other active agents in town. Isn't that what you want? You want someone who will work actively and aggressively to get your home sold, right? Terrific. All we need to do now is simply sign the contract so I can help you get what you want in the time you want. Won't that be great? Let's sign the contract.
All right. But we want you to cut your commission.
Hell
I'm
no.
so excited you brought that up.
No.
Any other questions?
Any
other
other
questions?
questions?
Sign the contract.
And the other agent told me they'd cut it down to 4%.
You know, I can appreciate that. May I tell you what makes me nervous? If other agents do not have the courage to stand up to you regarding their own self-worth, how strong will they possibly be defending you and the price you set for your home? John, I have that courage. Do you feel I can sell your home?
Yes.
Terrific. All we need to do now is simply sign the contract so I can help you get what you want in the time you want. Won't that be great? Let's sign the contract.
Nice job. Alright, so before we do round robin, let's practice some of the sound bites that we did last time too. So if you're trying to, let's go over the one where it says, but you haven't sold any homes in this area, right? They pull up your Zillow sheet, they see you don't have any past sales, the house is listed in Simi, what are we gonna say? And anybody can, volunteer the first one. I wanna practice and memorize these sound bites. So these are key. Does everybody remember what sound bites are?
The special words.
Little commercials, good.
Yeah.
It's kind of, just think of it like a little 30-second commercial, right? You gotta have a sound bite about yourself, your value, the company. So if you're trying to get somebody to understand, remember there's 4 key things that we do as top listing agents. What are those 4 things? Let's start with that first, because this will tie into your sound bites. What's that?
Consultant advice.
Consult and advise. All right, let's hear some others too. Anybody else? What do you do as a top listing agent?
Why
Market the
why am I blank?
There you go, market.
Market.
Market and
Yeah,
expose.
Very good. I was thinking of that, I just wouldn't say it.
All right. Who said negotiate? You did?
Yeah.
Good job.
Negotiate.
So negotiate is huge. You're a strong negotiator, right? Negotiate the best terms, the price.
Oversee the transaction.
That's it. That's the last one.
Hey,
And
well.
oversee.
I woke up.
Oversee the transaction, okay? So you ask the seller, Mr. Mrs. Seller, do you know what real estate agents do to list your home? Well, they just put it on the MLS and sell the house, right? That's all every agent does. That's why we're going to pay Purple Bricks to just put it on for $3,000. They say, well, actually, what I do and what other top agents do is number 1, we consult and advise you. Right? We take the guesswork out of real estate. Number 2, we market and expose the property. Now, the good news is you're with Century 21. So the second your house lists with us, your property is going to show up in over 80 countries across the globe. We're on 6 of 7 continents. The only continent we're not on is Antarctica. So you will get maximum exposure with Century 21. Right? Number 3, my job is to negotiate the best terms for the sale of your home. It is my duty, it's my stewardship to protect your hard-earned equity for your family when you decide to hire me as your listing agent. Number 4, my job is to oversee the transaction. Did you realize that over 150 phone calls take place from the beginning to the end of the transaction? Did you also realize on a national average that we have to sell every home twice? And in this market right now, as dynamic as it is, you need a top listing agent professional who's going to oversee the transaction and ensure that we close, because we have fallouts with appraisals, we have fallouts due to negotiations through repairs. So would you, Mr. or Mrs. Seller, find any value if an agent did any of those 4 things for you?
Yes.
That's the question we're asking at the end, okay?
Yeah.
So those are the four main pillars there that you want to memorize. Memorize the benefit, the 4 benefits: consultant advise, marketing expose, negotiate the best terms, oversee the transaction, and then which each of those have 2 supporting sentences. Clean, quick, concise, to the point, confident. That's it. We don't want to tell them our full marketing strategy in our
Right.
introduction,
Yeah.
right? All we're doing is giving a quick little intro. We don't tell them everything we do with open houses. We don't tell them everything we do with our marketing plan. What we tell them is that you will get maximum marketing exposure when you list your home with us and with Century 21. So this ties into sound bites. So I've already given a few of those away. What are some sound bites when somebody wants to list a house in Simi Valley or Moore Park? It's a
Are
quick.
you aware that we sell
Statistics.
over 50% of the homes in Simi Valley?
That's it. So the last stat I saw was 49%, and that's still fine. 50 is good. That really emphasizes it. So you can say, we sell 49%, or you can say we have 49% market share. You can say what that means is every other transaction that is sold in Simi and Moore Park is sold by Century 21. Just say it. Everest. Right?
Are they gonna change that name to C29 Everest? Is that when the new used cars come out?
You'll hear it.
Yeah, I'm sure.
It's coming up. So half of the transactions are sold by Century 21 Everest. Okay, so that's every other transaction that is sold, right? So what else? What else do we say about Century 21?
Are you also aware that we have almost a third of the business in Ventura County?
There you go. A third of all transactions across Ventura County. What else do we say? Anything else? And Leslie and Heather, I know you're using these, or new to some of them as well, but just whatever you can think of. So marketing exposure. Another thing that we can say on there is your property goes on to century21global.com.
That's it.
Okay, this is a big one that I've used because it really emphasizes the international market. That when you're up against a mom and pop or somebody who's discounting their commissions, not saying that they always will, but sometimes there is international exposure. We're in over 80 countries.
1,400 offices in China.
That's it.
1,500,
Oh, 1,500 plus in China.
1,500 now, it's increased to 100%.
Right.
No, you just didn't write it down.
over 1,000 in Japan. Translated into 20 languages.
That's what I was listening. Translated. How many? Translated how many?
20 languages.
600+ sites.
Currencies. Units.
It's over 600.
So you can pull up century21global.com. I've heard 600 on Golden Ruler. It says over 200 plus websites it's syndicated to.
200.
Oh, 200?
Yeah, and most companies, just so you know, have this access, but not all of them are emphasizing it. It's how well you
Right.
sell it, right?
Right.
This is more on the
kind of-
domestic level. This is just in our country. So it goes on over 200 sites. So you can say Zillow, Realtor.com, being the big ones, right? Trulia, all those sites. As soon as your house lists with us, when we put it into our system, it syndicates out. So you're getting maximum exposure with Century 21. That's what you're really emphasizing. And when you say these stats about, did you realize that we have over 49% market share?
Right.
I'm going to slow down and emphasize that. So what that means is every other listing
Yeah.
you see here in Simi Valley and Moore Park is a Century 21 Everest sign, right? I'm going to emphasize that. I'm really going to emphasize that because that's huge. Other things that most people don't realize is we have the number 2 company in the world. That's why this is huge, being able to emphasize Everest, number 2 in the world for all Century 21 offices. just in our nation, there's over 8,000 offices. So I know for our Moore Park office, or not our Moore Park, I'm sorry, our Wood Ranch office, we're number 42 out of 8,000 offices.
Wow.
So I'm going to emphasize that, right? That's just Wood Ranch. Guess what Simi is? Guess what the Simi Valley is?
I don't know.
Number
Probably
10.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Simi is number 10 in terms of total transactions. 10 out of 8,000.
Total transactions or total dollar value?
8,000 offices.
Are you talking about
8,000.
C21 or all?
C21.
Are you talking about based on number of
I'm talking
transactions
about
or
on
dollar value?
dollar
I
value.
would
So
think
There's
so.
said
something
Wood
you
Ranch
never
was
wrote
how
on
many?
there, I don't think. or
Number
maybe I
42?
42, that's what it was.
Oh.
Wood Ranch.
That was last year's. So we're both double Centurion offices. So your office has over 90 agents. So you have almost double the amount of
People,
agents.
so that's
Right.
right. So,
Well,
yeah.
but you guys are high. I mean, in terms of production, out of
Right,
all the Century 21 Troop offices. So when you say we have 10 offices across Ventura County,
That's-
you're really emphasizing, look, we're number 10
out of
in the
all those.
nation, not just in our company. Number 1 in our company, number 10 in the nation.
Right.
For us, what I emphasize more so on a recruiting appointment than I do on the
Right.
listing side,
Right.
but I'll say that our average agent does 10.45 transactions per year. And that's huge. On a national average, it's like 2 or 3 per year.
Was it 10.4?
And our office is 10.45 in a high volume area, in an area with average commission being somewhere between 6 and 800,000.
Right,
I need to get the exact number on it, but it's that's insane. I mean, this is really good. This was with over 40 agents last year. This year we're at 53, I think, full-time
Great.
agents that we have. So we'll see what we end up. I'm hoping we're higher than that, but we got some new agents, but then we also pulled some pretty strong producers as well. So it'll be interesting to see where we're at. My goal is to get us to 12 on this side. But again, these aren't as important. These are all very important.
Right.
You want to have these memorized. So if you don't have them written down, take a
Yeah,
picture of
yeah.
it. And
One more.
yes.
I don't think we wrote most globally recognized brand.
There you go.
Uh,
Every company, not every, but I know Remax claims the same, so it depends on what stats you're
most
looking at.
publicly-
But it is still good to say.
Oh.
But just say most
Publicly
globally
Globally. That's not
recognized
globally.
name in real estate. This also works when you're competing against one of the newer companies, like Compass or
Right.
something that nobody's heard of before, that you're going up against a heavy hitter. So, well,
A red tin.
right.
Is Remax
Who do you think
everywhere?
outside of the country? Remax is international.
Yeah?
They do have
Yeah,
them.
they
I
are.
don't
Yeah,
think
they
they
are.
have as many offices as we
Yeah,
do.
they are in it.
And I don't know if they advertise where they translate it. I
Okay.
know we do that.
Okay.
So what I say is we are the only company that translates it into 20 languages, their currencies, and I'll show it to you right now. I'm going to pull up Century 21 Global, and then you have to learn how to run searches. So if you have active listings, you pull it up, and you show it to them, translate it. It's crazy.
That's
And then
cool.
you just start showing it to them. It's like, all right, you
So
know,
you say
sounds
translate
good.
and currency.
Yeah.
Translate.
Currencies, I think there's only like 4 different currencies. The languages, it does 20 different languages, and you can see them all listed on the top. So you just click on Espanol, you know, they have like, there's Russian, the different Russian dialects, you know, so I don't know the difference between them. You know,
Right,
I
right.
actually thought they were like different Chinese characters, but I guess they were Russian, you know. So, no, well, it was, my photographer saw it, and he was like, oh, that's my
Wow.
language right there, you know,
Oh,
Sergey.
so he recognized. Oh,
Sergey
very
saw it,
interesting.
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it was
It's
some-
from Ukraine, yeah.
Right, so
Yes,
it's
it's
Ukraine, so whatever their language is, he
Yeah,
saw
but
that up
different,
there.
different dialect.
Yeah, still pretty
Interesting,
awesome
yeah.
to show that. So just remember, that's what you're leveraging. You use the company. I
When you
use
talk about
it.
Another agent.
Yeah, I mean, think if you're up against 2 or 3 agents,
How can you argue
more
against
than
that?
likely you're not up against that.
No.
Now, if you're up against the number 1 agent in the company, right? But they're with a smaller company, then you got to hammer this. You got to know what your strengths are versus theirs,
Exactly.
and emphasize that and say, can you afford not to get that international exposure? You know, I see this agent does a lot of transactions, but they work for a company that just came out in the last 2 years. So how strong of a brand recognition are you going to have, not just locally? The market isn't a local market anymore.
Right.
We're an international market. Where do you think all the investors are coming from? So you start
China.
creating that doubt, right? They say China. Say, how many offices do you think we have in China? Over 1,500.
My girlfriend
Right.
took 3 different people to Vegas
Yeah.
from China. They came here, landed here, and she took them to Vegas and sold them each 2 houses.
There you go. So it's, now they're buying property
You're
too.
at the other
I'm gonna
way.
raise that, 'cause I'm gonna take a picture of that,
Go ahead.
because
Yeah,
that's the only
Yeah.
writing that's better. It's not as bad as mine. I can't read mine.
All right, sounds good. All right, so let's jump into the objections. We're not out of this yet, but I distracted you long enough so we can forget
Good
everything.
distraction.
Oh, do we want to read that again?
Yeah, let's do some of these. Well, now we'll have somebody pick. Let's see how much time do we got. We got another 20 minutes still.
66, 67.
I know, but the ones,
Yeah.
that's all right.
I don't have the last one.
What page?
68 and
66?
70.
Okay.
Okay.
66 through 70.
So,
Yes, I didn't have
so I'll pick, this is one of my
it.
favorite
I had to
ones.
take it out of here, it's
So
not in here.
if you want to, you can do one of two things, right? I'm gonna say one of the objections, everybody has to in their head prepare one. John's rule was whoever does it first gets to read whatever's on here, if that's what they wanna do. If you wanna just do it off the top of your head, do what you would naturally do on that. And I think that's the best practice.
Obviously
is
took
to
mine
be
out of
able
here,
to do
that whole section.
Don't even worry about it, it's not even important what's here. Just practice your objection handling the best that you can, okay? Remember, it's not as much what you're saying, it's more how you're saying it. It's your confidence, it's, you wanna stay calm, cool, collective, you wanna give eye contact, and just show confidence, regardless of what it is. And the best question to go back to, is kind of think of it as a reflex. You've given a great presentation, right? But they're trying to negotiate commission. This is what happened to me last Friday or 2 Fridays ago. So, you know, they're like, hey, don't mean to offend you, you know, it was all great, but I'm gonna interview a few more agents. And so the old me would have walked out and left, right? And the new me, after practicing this, there's key questions you wanna ask. What do you wanna ask? What's the key question you wanna ask? If they tell you that. We wanna interview a few more agents, really liked what we heard.
No.
What do you wanna say?
What else,
What specifically have you not heard?
Good.
what else haven't I covered that you're still not 100% confident with?
Perfect. What would you say?
Same
Same
just,
thing?
yeah, well, you know, obviously, you know, we have a really nice rapport, but there might be something that I didn't cover, so I just would like to ask you.
You guys are all great. That's
What
perfect.
might that
So
be?
that's called isolating the objection,
Right, right.
right? You're trying to find out what the hesitation is. One of the very simple things that I learned in cell phone sales was if you answer every question somebody has in their mind, there's no reason, like you've identified what their sickness is or what they need, right? I would always think, it's like, I'm selling cell phones. Everybody has a cell phone. Who's gonna need a cell phone, right? But the thing is everybody has something they don't like about their current cell phone. Whether it's outdated,
Oh, sure.
it
There you
drops
go.
calls,
It's true.
Yeah,
there's
that's-
always
that's
something.
very
You
true.
gotta find out what it is,
Right.
Exactly.
hit that hot button,
Excellent.
and push that hot button, right? Then after you push the hot
Then
button,
they open up.
you gotta have a solution. These are your
My
solutions.
phone has such and such.
You see what I'm saying in terms of marketing, exposure, the key things, the 4 things that you're gonna do for them. Those, you're gonna guide them through a process that you're gonna lead them, right? So you have to identify it, and then you gotta figure it out. So the reason why I ask that, and I bring all that up, is when somebody's not ready to move forward with this, all they're telling us is there's something they're not 100% clear about in their mind. There's something that they're hesitating, that they're not convinced. And maybe they weren't convinced from the very beginning and weren't gonna allow you to convince them the whole way. So you gotta break that. You gotta discover it. The only way you do it is by asking questions, right?
A lot of them are in the habit, though, of saying, you know, if I talk to 3 or 4 agents, then I can say to people, well, yeah, I've checked with other
Right,
sources,
yeah.
I didn't just grab the first one. They think that's being smarter and more intelligent.
Of course, and you acknowledge that.
Right.
And you wanna share them that, but you also wanna share the confidence. So the very first question I was looking for is you wanna ask them, do you feel I can sell
that's
your
right.
home? That is a very strong, confronting question, that if you
Yeah.
say it in the right way, you gotta look at somebody in the eyes and say, Leslie, do you feel I can sell your home?
Yes.
And wait for the answer. Don't convince them.
You keep
And when they
staring at them.
Exactly,
Yeah,
keep staring,
there you
let,
go.
make them commit.
Right.
And ask them that strong question with confidence.
And some of
You
them
know,
will say, I don't know.
It is, well,
Some of them will say, I
if
don't
they
know,
say they don't know.
because they saw these other 2 people
They,
have an
they
interview.
could, or they could say, most of the time they won't say that. Most of the time they're gonna say, yes, I do, but,
Okay, got it.
right, they'll say that. I feel really good about, but you're the first person I've
Yes,
spoken
yes,
to.
Exactly.
we've all had
And
that.
so I think I need to at least talk to 2 other people to do my due diligence, like you're saying.
Right.
And then what you say, after you respond to that, is I completely understand, you know, that you want to do your due diligence. This is a very important decision, isn't it?
Yes.
Pull it back.
Make them answer.
You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Yes, it is. This is probably the most important decision that you're going to make this year in terms of selling your largest investment. Is this your largest investment? You know the answer,
Sure.
but you want them to commit to it.
Got it.
And say, well, let me ask you, what is it that's your hesitation? So after I've got them to commit to those, then I'm asking them, so let me ask you, what is it that's your hesitation from what we've gone over today? Because you said you feel pretty confident that I can sell your home. I want you 100% confident. So what is it that I missed? And then now the excuse comes out. Now the objection comes out. And that's what he told me, is I'm going to interview a couple more because somebody may do it for 4% commission. So now it's like ding, 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 ding. So now I know this is the hurdle I need to get over right now. It's commission, right? Which I didn't discover on the phone call. I kind of sensed it because he asked, well, I want to know what the costs are.
Yeah.
And I shouldn't have even started having the conversation there. So that's where I made my mistake.
Well, you
Because
did?
I told them, well, customarily 5%, and I shouldn't have said that.
No.
Okay.
Because I could have started at 6,
Oh,
right?
yeah, there
Yeah, you
you go.
gave
But
away a
either
percent
way, I
automatically.
still stuck hard at the 5 and I never budged. And so I shared with him again, and then all I acknowledged is when he said, well, somebody may do it for 4, I said, oh, somebody absolutely will do it for 4.
Exactly.
And then I said, and guess what? I got a list of people I can give you that will do it for less than 4%. But that's when I came back to, is this your biggest investment? So I said the investment after the fact.
Right.
Because I want to emphasize how important of a decision this is.
And you want to waste
And
that somebody
then,
doesn't know.
where do I want to shift them? What's my goal? What am I doing in my head? What am I trying to paint the picture of?
Well,
You
you're
shift them
gonna-
to the value that you're
That you're
presenting.
gonna, and the
Value
more
I'm
value you're gonna
presenting,
get for
but
them.
away from cost.
That's right.
To value.
And moving to
Value.
value
And what
and
can you
benefit
do?
and what I'm gonna bring, right?
And benefit to him, that you can make him more money.
Isn't it more important that we get you the best possible price for your home?
Of
Yeah.
course, but everybody's gonna say that, right?
Mhm.
So I still gotta get him to shift and understand, so now I am sharing stories, as
Now
well as
you're
I'm
gonna get
painting
into the-
doubt about if you go the discount route, there's a cost you're gonna pay for that,
Right.
right? So I have to paint that picture
Mhm.
without it bad-mouthing somebody who's willing to cut their commission,
Mhm.
but showing that, look,
Value.
this is what I'm gonna do.
Your
If
value.
you're not happy with it, you know what I mean, then you're gonna see right away that this is the route that you wanna go. So before you make the mistake that many people make, I said, if you decide to go that route, and you come back to me 6 months from now your property has a negative stigma on it. And right now, I believe you can get $410 for your house. I said, if you go the other route, I'll be lucky to get $399. I said, that's $10,000 you're talking about right now, based on this decision. So I said, I'm gonna leave my paperwork with you here. This was on Friday. I gotta go because I had my daughter's thing. And then he's like, well, will you be available tomorrow if we decide to go forward with you?
Ah, that's a good sign.
And because he was also trying to put it off to the end of the month. So I was trying to show him the urgency of, if you wait, it could cost you.
Right.
So sure enough, as soon as we list it, the other one that was listed at $435 drops it down to $425.
Exactly.
So now we're only at 15,000 difference.
Is that
He
the
also has
condo you
another
just-
neighbor, the one
Yeah,
on
we used
Lubbock.
Yeah.
Then the other neighbor is getting their house ready right now. So I said, do you
Nice.
want to set the price point, or do you want to allow tick for tack for everybody else? And we could spend a lot of money and be losing. So I had to emphasize it. You don't have
Get it
days to
sold
waste
now.
here.
Yeah.
If
get
you
it
feel
sold
good
now.
about me, let me do my job and let me work for you. But it's that conviction.
Right.
And every single one of us in here can speak with that conviction, regardless of how long you've been in the business. It's easier when you have more experience, obviously, but there's people with experience that can't speak with that
Absolutely.
conviction. You can do it, and they're gonna believe in you and how you're saying things. But let's get back to the key question again. What is the key question when you got that hesitation?
What are they hesitating about?
Well, that's what you'll get to.
And
That's an
do you
important.
believe I can sell your
Yeah,
Do you
home?
believe I can sell your home?
Right.
You have to ask them that
I
question.
believe I can sell your home.
Don't be afraid of the answer. If they say no, that's fine, right? They can tell you. Now you can find out why. Why don't they believe you
Yeah,
can?
what
And
is
they
it
may
about-
say, you know what, Leslie, I can tell you look like a great person. I can tell you're professional. I can tell you're a hard worker. I just don't know if you have enough experience, right? And they may say that. And then what you respond with, say, I appreciate your concern. And what I want to share with you is that I am with the #2 office in the world for Century 21. We know how to sell homes. We sold 8,000 last year. My office alone and the team that I work with, we sell 20 homes every single day. I think that's the stat of what it comes out to with the 8,000.
And every other
20
house is
homes
sold by
every
what
day.
company?
This office or
said-
both or what?
No, I think Everest.
But
is
then
what
you say
Everest,
every
right?
other house that is
20
sold
houses
by
a day.
us.
So then I flip and I'm banking off the company and I say, so depending on who you interview next, ask them how many houses they sell,
Good job.
right? We know how to sell homes, we know how to negotiate the best terms, and I have the support around me to guarantee your success. I promise you, you won't regret your decision, and I promise you that nobody's gonna be more committed than I am of making sure that you get everything that you want and that you're gonna refer me to every single person you know. And that's how you respond to
Wow.
it. You don't have to say
That's
anything else.
awesome.
It's so casual, but
Nothing
it's
else.
powerful.
It is, and it's not,
It's
it's,
comfortable.
more
It's
is
not
not better.
threatening. It's not-
Less is better.
Yeah.
But
not
it's the
threatening.
confidence, right? That's what they want. So you're gonna get that question or that hesitation. I got it when I started at I was 22 when I started. And one guy told me, he's like, I could tell you were green. He's like, but I knew you were gonna work hard for me. And that's why I decided to go with you over this other agent who was the top agent for 20 years that I was interviewing against.
Because you
Wow.
knew you were
So when I was
gonna prove
22, I
yourself.
took an $800,000 listing
Woo,
up
nice.
against it. So you can do it, but you gotta believe in it, and they gotta see it. And, you know, sometimes you're gonna get people that just wanna help you out, and that's okay too, I'll take those every day,
Right.
So
You can feel sorry for me all you want.
You talked about
Sorry.
earlier about the other one being listed at 430 or something like that.
Right.
And then they had to come down.
They did.
Well, they
And
had to.
that is your point to say that, what? I mean, I'm trying to tie that in,
Okay,
how you're
good.
using it.
Okay, so when we listed at 410, the reason why I spoke with that conviction is because the other one was at 435. That was a
Right.
model, actually, they had 1,500 square feet.
Obviously,
Ours
yours is more
14.
marketable at 410.
At 410, right.
Right,
At that time. Well, the second they dropped the price, it hurt us.
of course.
Because
Got it.
now it's only a
Got it.
$15,000 difference.
Makes sense.
So what I told them
You
is
want-
before the other one drops the price,
Yeah.
we
Amen.
price it first.
And get
Do you want to set the price
Yeah.
and set the limit
And have
of
a
what
chance of
people can
multiple
do?
offers?
Or what if this one drops it down to 410, right?
Exactly.
Now we have to start at 399. I said, so you need
Good
to list
point.
it
Excellent.
now,
Yeah.
Excellent.
today at
That's
410.
right.
And then the next day he
Excellent.
drops the price, it confirmed exactly what I
You
said.
told him.
And then I told him, I said, so now there's only a 15,000 gap. I said, so where I told you 100% I felt confident at 410, I said, now that's shifting because of this. I said, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna do our caravan on Friday, only like 8 people showed up.
Wow. We were
Tuesday, ours, you did. So you
Oh,
guys
sure.
got a 1 in 8 chance at $100.
You're good, yeah.
So that
That's
works
good.
out for
Yeah, I
you.
put some stickum on my.
There you go,
Yeah, right,
there you
yeah.
go. So then on Tuesday, and this is also another soundbite you wanna use for See Me More Park,
I
is
want
our,
to take a picture of that too,
is
don't
our,
be erasing
That's
that's
it.
right, yeah.
okay, is our caravan for
Oh, that's right.
Century
Caravan for
21
every Friday.
Everest here
Yeah.
in See Me More Park, right?
Yep.
So with that, I had 17 agents from our company come through there. 9 of them left feedback, so I had the feedback.
Awesome.
So you want to use that in your marketing. No other company's doing that here
There you go.
locally.
Right.
Nobody else is. I wish they did it in Camarillo and other areas as well, but that's huge.
Oh,
Yeah,
sure.
because of
To
the
have
odds of.
17.
Yeah.
Because they got buyers.
Well,
Well,
yeah.
and how do we spin it?
Yeah, you
They've got
say-
They have
buyers.
buyers, right?
Yeah.
But think of this. You have
validates.
to sell everything. It does validate. But the way you sell it is, do you want to have 17 different agents setting appointments through the next 2 weeks, or should we have them all come through at one time?
Yeah.
17 to 30
There you
agents
go.
from our
Good point,
company.
good point,
So you're
absolutely.
saving them time,
Sure.
efficiency, and as soon
Correct.
as it hits,
Right.
we have 17 of our top agents here in See Me More Park that work with buyers that are going to see your house at this price, and we got them in the door. Do you know
Right.
how powerful that is
That's
to
gonna get
all the
out right
neighbors
away.
when we're doing those caravans? That's why it's important that we
Yeah,
go
there's
to
all those
them
people
and
coming to your
support.
house. Well, those are the real estate
It's
agents that
huge.
came to look, yeah.
And guess what? I've
That's
done
right.
it where I've
That's
gone on other people's caravan in Camarillo, and the neighbor comes over, and now I got a potential listing from a neighbor of going to somebody else's caravan. So be
Yeah.
dressed up
Yeah,
professionally.
exactly.
Absolutely.
Wear your badge, I don't have mine on, but go out there and they'll ask you, oh, are you a real estate agent? Well, I'm actually thinking about selling my house. And that's one of the first things Ken taught me. He's like, just
Be ready.
be there, show up,
Yeah.
be professional. And by doing the right things, through osmosis, you start attracting business. But you gotta do them. You gotta be a caravan, you gotta do these things. You gotta leverage the caravan at your listing presentation.
That's a
These
good
were
one.
all things that I hit, that I guarantee, and I looked up who represented him before when he purchased the place. some small mom and pop brokerage. They can't do that.
No.
It's probably just 3 people in that office or 10 people in that office.
Right.
They don't have 90 in Simi and 50 here. That's 140
global.
agents just in a 2-3 mile square radius. Look at all the heavy hitters we have. So leverage that. So look at the amount of transit. We got the #1 agent in the country
Right.
in this office.
Yeah.
#2 in the world, right? Nobody does more transactions than
Than we
that.
do,
Then
yeah.
we got Debbie Gates, we got
Yeah,
Alex. I mean,
exactly.
we have heavy hitters
hitters.
after heavy hitters. You got to leverage it, right? And I guarantee they're leveraging their stats. You should be leveraging it as well. You're a
Exactly.
part of that.
Exactly.
We all work
That's a
together.
good point. They work with us. That's a
They
good point,
do.
rather than we're competing
Well,
against them.
we're
they're
working
us.
with them. We're
Right.
taking buyers to their listings,
That's
right?
exactly right.
So we all leverage it together. We're a team, and you have to leverage it. Every one of us has to leverage it. You know, I leverage it.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no reason why the second any one of us gets a listing appointment that we don't take every one of those listings. But you got to believe it before you show up. 2 fundamental beliefs. What are the beliefs?
I'm the best person
And,
for
yeah,
the job.
for the job.
Yep.
What?
I'm the best person for the job.
Right.
You're not second best, third best, fourth best. You're the
Right.
#1. You are the best person. What's the second belief?
I can get
Give them
that
top
house
dollar.
sold.
What's that?
I can get that house
You
sold.
can get the job done.
Get the job.
Okay, you can do it.
Best
That's
person.
probably one of the scariest things after you finally sign it. It's like the excitement of, yes, I got the listing. It's like, damn, how am I
Yeah,
gonna
right, sell this
this?
sucker, yeah,
Right?
yeah,
Now
especially
it's
a couple
like,
that
I
have
just
some.
hope
I got
everything I
experience out
promise
of
is gonna
that,
happen.
just like that.
Yeah.
And that's why you gotta be careful on the price, and those were the mistakes I made.
Yeah.
But that conviction was necessary for him to sign the listing agreement the next day. So now it's 410, not a single offer on the table yet. We've had showings, we've had people there, I've heard the feedback, it was between 395 and 410. You know, it's priced very competitive, but not an offer yet. We've had a couple good showings, but
Right.
still nothing in hand.
Right.
So the next talk is either drop the price, or what else, are you gonna rip the carpet out? Because he's gotta rip that
Right,
out and
right,
look
right.
inside,
Yeah,
right?
right.
But he just painted the
Did
bathroom,
you
so
address
he's
that
doing it.
too?
Of
We
course.
before the carpet
Yeah,
may be an
it's,
issue.
I'm brutally honest through it, but with tact, right? You gotta be honest
Yeah.
and direct, and that's also what you showed them. It's like, I'm
Right.
not gonna tell you what you wanna hear. I could easily tell you, yeah, the last house sold at 437,
Yeah.
model matched your property.
But it didn't have the carpet that you have.
No, I said that place was completely fixed up.
There you go.
Yeah.
So are you
That's
willing to
it.
spend 20 to
There you go.
30,000 to hope to get 437? I said,
Exactly.
guess what, the one that's bigger than us right now is at 435, and it's been on the market for 20 days. Next
Yeah.
day, they drop it to 425.
Realizing that that's
$10,000.
their
Right,
competition.
so they spent all the money, so you gotta tell the story. That's all you're looking at. You don't need 20 comps, you need 1 or 2 to show them the value and how you separate between it. So I know I went more into lecture.
No, that's
than I wanted to
great.
probably
Are you kidding me?
explain.
That's
Beneficial,
great.
Is it?
helpful.
And we all needed that. I certainly
All
needed
the
that.
old ones and the new ones.
Where
Alright, well,
were
let's-
you 8,
let's do
9
it.
months ago when I had Winnetka?
You all have it, so I know we're
I
getting
made the
close.
mistake, I did not strongly suggest that we're too high. And I tried to get her down, we compromised in the middle, and sat for 6 months.
It's hard too, because when she was set in her ways, I
So-
want this, and now it's like it's been 8 months.
I'm gonna start firing away. We're all gonna get one quick practice run. Okay, Bruce, I
Yes.
have a friend in the business. Don't even look at that off the top of your head.
You know, I can appreciate that, and I'm glad you brought that up, and almost everyone does. But have you considered, are you in the business to sell your home or just do a friend a favor?
Good point.
Okay, so I've talked to you, I've explained to you, you won't find anyone that'll work harder for you. You'll get the best exposure to the market. Do you feel that I can sell your home, Brandon?
I do, Bruce.
Well, then let's sign the contract.
Nice job.
Yeah,
Good job.
that was just so
Perfect.
good.
All right.
So did I say, I don't even remember.
That's why,
That's
now
one
we're
of
in
my
the
favorite
zone.
ones.
That was comfortable.
Heather, we just wanna think it over. You know, it was really good, but we just need the night to think about it.
You know, I appreciate that.
Dude, don't even.
That's
Yeah, because I feel like I'm like trying
No,
to
that's
do
Swahili,
this.
that's Swahili, it's not the language.
Right. Blah, blah, blah.
Okay, ask me again?
Yeah,
I
so-
don't even remember the
No,
question.
Heather, so we just, you know, that was a great presentation, but we just need the night to think about it.
I completely understand your concern, and I'm glad you brought that up. What else do you feel that I need to show you to get your home sold? What
Well,
do you have to
we
look
feel
for?
pretty good about it, it's just a big decision, you know, it's a lot of money, the commissions are a lot, you know, it's, we think you're great, we've been referred to you, we know you'll do it, we just need the night to think about it.
Yeah, you know, and I completely understand that. This is probably one of the biggest decisions you're gonna make investment-wise.
Yes.
You know, and 3 heads are better than 2, so
Uh-huh.
let's kind of talk about what's your biggest concern? What
Awesome.
can I do?
Well, biggest concern, to be honest, it's the commission. It's, our house is 800,000, 5%, that's $40,000 we're gonna be paying in commissions. And, it's just, we didn't realize it was that expensive.
Right, and I completely understand that. That is a lot of money, especially when you look at it at that perspective. Do you want somebody who is going to fight for you and make sure that you get top dollar, so that 40,000 is not going to matter in the long run, because you are going to get more for your home when you have somebody who is willing to fight for the price of your home.
That makes sense.
Does that make sense?
It does.
All right, and Brandon, do you feel I can sell your home?
I do.
Awesome, so let's go ahead and sign the contract.
Okay.
Great.
The only other thing to add to it, if you want, is let's sign the contract tonight.
Exactly.
That'd be the
Oh,
nice
yeah,
to think about it. Right.
And if you
And
get
then
a
I'll
call
call you in the
morning.
morning.
Yeah, I love that one.
Right.
I'll call you
No,
in
you
the
can
morning.
try it. And in
Okay,
all
yeah.
honesty, in reality, if they ask me for it, I give them their space.
Yeah.
I leave the contract with them,
Yeah.
Yes.
filled out,
Yep.
ready to go. So
Yeah.
all they need to do is sign an initial.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
afraid for them to use my contract. I speak with confidence, and I know, here you go.
Right.
You know what you're gonna get with me.
Right.
Here it is. So that's the new kind of move that I've done, without saying, let's sign it tonight,
Right.
and then do it, because I respect people's,
Yes.
what they say.
And they
And
feel.
they appreciate that.
Yeah.
and
They
And
do.
you're not
And I
high
feel like-
pressuring them either. When you do it that way, you
It's
say,
not.
hey, it's in your hands.
It
So
is.
when
I
you
leave
call
it
them in
to
the morning, you say to them, so before breakfast, did you sign the contract?
I don't call them. I let them make the next
I know.
move.
Sure.
I do it, and more times than not, it works. But I also start acting like I got hired. So
Well, that's
this
what I was gonna say,
house.
it's that
Oh, that's a good
confidence
point. I
of-
started
So,
acting like I got
I
hired.
did. So, and somebody taught me this actually when I was working the cell phone job. They said you should always make your boss's job easier, was one thing I heard, right?
Interesting.
Never make it more difficult. Number two is already act like you got the job, right? So I was up for a management position there, and I started already acting like the manager. I was doing inventory. I was already doing the things that managers would do. So it's the same thing when I'm
So he
going
was
on a listing
impressed.
appointment. Well, I've done it twice. I did it for Wilcox and
Interesting.
got it, and started sending them properties like he was my client. I don't wait. So then for this
That
one,
makes sense.
I called my handyman, put my handyman in touch with him. He called him that night. The handyman's going out on Saturday. I didn't even, and if he would have said he was gonna list with me, I was gonna pay for that. But since it was still up in the air, and now commission, he's kind of nitpicking, to be honest with you.
You let him
You
pay
know,
for it.
exactly. He made the
Absolutely.
call, they did it, he
Absolutely.
committed to it, paid $350. But just the fact that I showed the initiative, I guarantee had serious points on him making the decision on
Well,
Saturday.
yeah, because he's already thinking that if he's gonna do that for me now,
Right.
how's he gonna handle the people coming to show the
Exactly. So
property? It's
you
like,
already
you're taking this little
start,
thing
you
and
already
making
start
it.
the steps.
that's awesome.
You don't wait to do it, you already start as if you've been hired for the job.
'Cause I-
What's the
because you-
worst
I
they're
knew
gonna
you
do?
needed it. Yeah, say no.
Is say, okay, well, I'm not in, you're gonna see really quick, or you're gonna see if they're motivated and actually listening to what you're telling them.
Right.
So it's cool when you see it happen and then when it works out, but, all right, everybody's sweating for the next one. We'll do one
After
last
those
one
two.
here. What's that?
Yeah,
So
for those
after
two,
those
exactly.
After those two?
They're both so good.
I
Awesome.
know, those were solid. All right, Bernadette, we,
Bernadette.
we really like your presentation, but in all honesty, I mean, could you just, if you could do it for 4%, we'd list with you.
I understand your concern, but let me tell you, you will be able to find many people who will do it for a lot less. But I don't apologize for my commission,
Oh.
because I am confident about what I can do for you. How did you feel about what I was presenting to you?
It was really good.
Do you
I mean,
see the value in what I can bring?
Definitely, I do. It's just a lot of money. You know, this is a $1.1 million property, and I know, I mean, it's just an insane amount of money that we're gonna be paying in commission if this all works out.
I understand what you're saying. One of the ways that I like to present it to you is that 5%, when you think about after closing costs, it's really you're netting 93% of the sale of your home. And sometimes people focus on that little 5%,
Right.
but 93% is a lot. And
Right.
I'm here to protect your equity. That's what I want to do.
Okay.
And I don't apologize for that. I will also be the same when offers come in. I'll negotiate those offers the same way that I'm negotiating with you.
Good.
How do you feel about that?
Good. I just wish you would budge just a little bit for us.
I can't do that.
Okay. Well, we're just gonna need to think about it then.
Is there anything else that I can help you with that's going on inside? Because I think that we really had a good rapport. And do you feel like I can sell your home?
That's good. So try this though. Try to say, let's put commissions aside.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Okay, let's put commissions aside.
Yeah, okay,
Is there anything else?
yes, yes.
Excellent.
So isolate the objection on
Yes,
that,
yes.
then move it to, is there anything else in the presentation that you're hesitant that I can't sell your home,
Mhm.
or that I'm not the best person to
Mhm.
sell your home?
Okay,
Get them to commit to that, because now you've isolated it.
That's
See what I'm saying?
That's very
So
good.
let's try it again, do it again, real quick.
the whole thing?
No, that
No,
part,
no,
that
Oh,
part.
okay, okay.
So,
So
so commission,
let's set commissions aside for now,
okay?
okay? Is there anything else that makes you feel that I can't sell your home?
No, not at all.
Okay, so you feel
said
like
that.
I can sell your
I
home?
do, it's just the commission, that's it.
Okay, well, let me just tell you that, I don't know where to go.
It's okay, no, it's good. So, all right, I'll flip it on me real quick, okay?
Okay,
All right.
it's just the commissions.
So commission, okay, so let's put commissions aside, right? Just that aside. With the rest of the presentation, is there anything else that you're hesitant that I am not the best person to sell your home?
No, I can't think of anything else.
Well, that's awesome. And what I also, many people also will focus on the commission, right? And I can tell you right now, I can give you a list of people who will do it for less commission. But is that what this is $1 million property right now, right? And just a small percentage will make a huge difference in terms of what you're walking away with, won't it?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Well, I will negotiate. I promise you that nobody will negotiate harder than I will in terms of getting you to walk away with the most amount of money, right? So that's the first part. I said the second part that we haven't even discussed yet is that we have a full inspection period, right? That lasts for 21 days. And during that period, guess what happens? There's an appraisal that comes in. So an appraisal can come in lower than the prices that we've negotiated up. So that's one hurdle that we could overcome. Number two is they do their home inspections. And they find things. And this home is 20 years old. There's a very strong likelihood that there's going to be a list of things that come up, even though your home is beautiful and has been extremely updated, right? So now we have to negotiate through that. So where we stay fixated on the cost of doing business, right, to make sure that I can fully market and advertise your property to get you the exposure that you deserve, not cut any corners, period, right? To do what I need to do, I have to make sure that we at least do this at 5% commission minimum. I actually charge 6%, but because I know that this is a high price point, 5% is more than adequate to do what I need to do to negotiate for you. The other thing is that 2.5%, if we offer anything less than that, I'm not doing you justice. So an agent that tells you that they can do less than 2.5 is lying to you, all right, on that side. So it's only fair that we both represent 2.5, that's the standard here in Ventura County. And sometimes I even say offer 3% to the other side. I'll still stay at 2.5. But sometimes I'll say 3 because you need more exposure. You need more persuasion on the other side. Who do you think is going